internationally standardized pattern. Everyone knows two diagonal lines will mean brickwork, right? Concrete is an internationally standardized pattern. Everyone knows triangle and dots means concrete. Okay. And then there are some materials which are free for you to determine, like let's say your paint. Paint is a material you can pick up any hacks and assign it as paint. Okay. This graphical representation of materials is called hatching. So what we are going to learn is how to hatch a drawing. A very simple command, a short command rather. First letter of the spelling H, enter. I'll quickly take you through these components, not through all, just through the essential ones. In boundaries, we have pick point select. This I'll just come to when I start hatching. In patterns, you can see this exhaustive list of patterns in AutoCAD, right? I just clicked on this expand arrow on the bottom. This, for example, this ANSI 32 is a standard brickwork hatch. Uh, this ANSI 38 is a standard plywood hatch. Concrete is the concrete hatch. You have then sand hatch, you have earth hatch, and so on and so forth. Okay. Then you have all the different hatch properties. What you will need to focus on, change this to bilayer first of all. What you will need to at the max focus on is the size of the hatch over here. Right now it is mentioned as 1. No other properties need to be focused upon by you guys currently. Set origin, let it be not required. Associative should always be turned on. Create separate hatches should always be turned on. I'll just tell you quickly what associative and create separate hatches are. Let's say I was to do the hatch on this. Right now my associative and create separate hatches is turned on. Right? I do another hatch in this bottom wall and I'll turn off associative. Right? Let's say I want to increase the wall thickness. I increase it in this one. The hatch remained in its original position. But in the upper one, when I increase the thickness, the hatch also gets extended. Upper one was associative, lower one was not. Right? So what associative basically does is it attaches the hatch to its bounding object or the polyline. Associative only works with polylines, another feature of polyline, line versus polyline. So what associative does is it attaches the hatch to the polyline, and every time the polyline is modified, the hatch also gets modified subsequently. Now comes to separate hatches. If let's say if I was hatching on 5 objects, I'll do this first row with separate hatches turned on. I'll hatch them. And I'll do this second column with separate hatches turned off. Now what happens over here? In this separate hatches was turned on. In this, even though all the hatches were created in the same command, they are all treated as individual objects, as you can see. But in this, where the separate hatches was turned off, everything is treated as one same object. For you guys, the most common scenario will be the turned on version. So use that. And the last thing that I want to explain in this hatches is this pick points and select. There are two ways of filling up a hatch. If you have made your drawing using a polyline, you can just take select and take everything together, it will fill up. Because polyline is a closed object, it will automatically detect and hatch. In case you did not make something as a polyline, then you will have to take pick point and you will have to sort of manually click inside each and every object. Hence the name pick point and select, right? Which is why I told you in the first class, we always use polyline. It gives you a lot of power over standard line command. Okay. With that being said, I'll fill in the hatches using the select because mine are of course polyline. I'll just select the 3 lines, 3 walls over here like that. I've used the NSI 32 command. I've given a 25 ka scale. Separate hatches turned on, associative turned on, and my hatch